So your father was a broker slash appraiser.
Right.
Owned some properties and lots in Kansas back in the 60s and 70s, which is unreal. You know, we're not talking about California, we're talking about Kansas.
Right.
So what part of Kansas?
Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka, Kansas. Okay, cool. Shout out to Topeka.
Yeah.
So then, tell me about your childhood. You grew up with brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So I have one older brother.
Okay.
And two younger brothers.
Oh, so a family of what? 4 boys?
4 boys.
Awesome.
Okay, so it's a family of 6.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're the only real estate.
Yeah.
You're the only one that followed in your father's footsteps in a sense.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to high school in that area.
Yeah. So I went to Highland Park High.
Okay.
Graduated from Highland Park High.
Shout out to Highland Park.
Attended the University of Kansas.
Okay. Awesome.
And then, but the funny story there was that since I was 8. So what our father did on your birthday, he would ask you what you're going to do when you turn 18. You know, you're going to join the service, you're going to go to school, and but you can't stay here.
And you know, I hate to interrupt you, but that was a thing back in the day, right? That was the thing. Like, you got a few choices, and one of them is not going to be here.
Right. Yeah.
That has changed nowadays.
Right.
But I got the same talk from my parents, or my mom at least, when I was growing up. But that was a thing, and everybody knew that question was coming.
Right.
So okay, continue.
Yeah. So that was every birthday, right? And it wasn't like, you know, I don't love you, or I don't like you, or anything like that. It said you've got to do something. So it's the military, get a job. In Topeka, there was the railroad.
Okay.
There was Goodyear Tire.
Okay.
And there was DuPont.
Okay.
Okay. So you could get a job or you could go to school. Okay. So Army, job, school.
That's
it.
So
but you can't stay here.
You can't stay here.
Okay. So he would make that nudge every birthday for me and my brothers. Okay. And you didn't have an answer. You said, okay. Okay. Duly noted, right? You know, and then but the reason that he was partial to the University of Kansas is that my dad, he also coached in the 50s, sort of we'll call it a semi-pro team in Topeka, basketball team.
Oh, wow, okay.
And there was a player that played for the University of Kansas, and I don't know if I can show you the picture.
All right.
If this will mess up your but I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, so this was 1955.
He had Wilt Chamberlain on his semi-pro team,
right,
in Kansas.
So
wow.
So Wilt was a student basketball player at the University of Kansas. Okay, so this is before a lot of the NCAA rules.
Okay.
That said that players couldn't play for cash. Okay. So and the other people on the team worked at the post office, had worked at one of the manufacturing plants, and then they'd all come together and play basketball on a Friday night or a Saturday night, right? And then the players, the coaches, and the refs would all split the gate, because if you remember back so this was before I was born, but this was Jim Crow, right?
Yeah.
So you as a player, you as a black student couldn't attend the games.
Wow.
Okay. So for black people to see Wilt, it was at this semi-pro game, right?
Wow.
So a typical scenario would be Wilt would play for the play for my dad's team on Friday. Players and everyone would split the gate, and then he played for Kansas on Saturday.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It's an amazing story.
So and then the black students couldn't live on campus, so they all lived off campus in the same housing. Okay. So that's a totally different dynamic than the players today. 11th campus being treated like kings and queens.
Kings and queens, you know.
Right.
And it's funny because some people have an issue with that, right? And that's their prerogative, but we're kind of owed that type of, you know, privilege because a lot of these schools, that wasn't the case for us back in the day, living on campus, you know, education. We had schools that were built for us, so we could get an education.
Right.
So now I think you're seeing more equality. And that's because the money is so big nowadays.
Right.
You have no choice. It's kind of just leapfrogged over the NCAA and started the NIL. And whether you like it or not, I feel like these athletes, these students, in particular, the black community, this is old. This is old. You know, you're mad about a couple million. This is old, man.
Oh, yeah.
This is old. So I'm glad that students are getting the money that they have nowadays. And Wilt Chamberlain, I'm from Philadelphia. Wilt's from Philly, so that really resonates with me.
Right. So
amazing story.
Yeah. So there wasn't the training tables and all of that there are today.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So and I'll show you the picture.
Okay.
I should probably send this to you too.
Oh yeah. We're gonna follow up.
Okay.
Oh, that's his picture. Yeah.
Okay. So
that's amazing.
So that's obviously Wilt in the center. So this is 1955, and then that's my dad, and then the white guy. His name is Dana Hummer.
Okay.
Now my middle name is Dana.
Okay.
Okay. And what? So Dana was an ally before we knew what the word ally meant. Okay.
He was an ally before the ally was an ally.
Right. So my dad would give Dana money to put a down payment on a house or a piece of property that he wanted to buy.
Get out of here.
And then Dana would sign it over to my dad.
Wow.
Okay, and he probably collected a little transaction
for sure.
But, you know, that was, again, you know, we're talking 50s and 60s, right?
Wow.
Okay, so that was an ally before.
Oh my gosh!
We had the term ally.
Thank you so much.
And that was an ally when it cost you something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it doesn't really cost you much.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
So that was back when it cost you.
Cost you friendships, cost you relationships, cost you job maybe. I mean, being an ally back in the day was not cool.
Right.
Could cost you your life. I mean, that was a thing that happened in Alabama back in the day. So, wow, thanks for Dana. And obviously your dad was felt indebted to him because he named you, or your middle name is.
Yeah.